welcome you to tonight's 11th Annual Hall of Fame Gathering. Quite an event. My name is Herb Goins. I used to be a teacher, coach, and athletic director at Andrews High School back in the day. We currently have 107 individuals and 2 teams in the Hall of Fame. And tonight we're going to be adding 10 more individuals to the Hall. At this time, I'd like to call upon the chairman of our Hall of Fame committee, Mr. Pete Hunter, for some remarks.
Good evening. I am Pete Hunter, the chairman of the Hall of Fame committee. And on behalf of the committee, I'd like to welcome you to the 11th TWA Andrews High School Hall of Fame induction banquet, where we recognize those individuals who brought their accomplishment, who through their accomplishments have brought pride and distinction to our school and community as either an athlete, coach, administrator, or contributor to the development and progress and success of T. Wingate Andrews High School athletic programs. Members of the, you will see as the program progresses that all of these individuals have outstanding credentials that qualify them for the Hall of Fame. And it should make you proud to know that this is why they are being awarded with this distinction. We have a number of people. We do the Hall of Fame committee does not randomly select individuals to go into this Hall of Fame. This is done through through applications where people are nominated and their credentials are put before the Hall of Fame committee. And through this process, the Hall of Fame committee will determine and make a selection of these individuals to the Hall of Fame. There, occasionally we've had people who have walked up to members of the Hall of Fame committee and asked, well, why haven't I been selected? I did such and such, and I should be awarded, I should be on that list and in the Hall of Fame. Well, we simply give an answer, which is not us trying to be smart. We just tell them nobody nominated you. So if you know of somebody who feels like, or you feel should be in the Hall of Fame, what you need to do, you can go on the internet under, I think it's T. Wingate Andrews, get an application, fill out that application, lay it all out about why that person should qualify for the Hall of Fame, and the committee will review those applications and make a determination as to which one will be admitted to this Hall of Fame. We do not, we agonize over all of these applications to make sure that we get the right people who go into this Hall of Fame. They belong in the Hall of Fame. If we do not, if somebody's selected or you see a name go up, person's been admitted to the T. Wingate Andrews Hall of Fame, and you feel like they shouldn't be there, then of course you are going to let us know. So far we haven't had that to happen. So we want to welcome all of you here the Hall of Fame banquet, and we hope that you will enjoy yourself, and you'll see exactly as Herb goes through all of the credentials for these individuals who've been selected. You will see what I'm talking about while they qualify for the Hall of Fame at TWA Andrews. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pete. And as Pete said, the nomination forms are at the T. Wingate Andrews High School Hall Athletic website. You can download that application. Applications are due by April 15th of a particular year. So by April 15th of 2026, the next applications will be due. I don't see Mr. Baker here yet, or Doug Brown, the athletic director. Have they come in? Not yet? Okay. Call on Mike McDowell for our invocation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
If you will, given the gravity of this day in the history of our country, before I pray for our meal, I'd like to ask us to have a moment of silence, because today is a celebration, not a celebration, but a memorial to September the 11th. So if you will, just join me for a moment of silence. Our Heavenly Father, we've gathered here tonight to celebrate and honor these men and women who have accomplished much in the arena of athletics and in life, both at Andrews High School and beyond. Tonight we celebrate together as part of the Red Raider family that for 50 plus years has seen great accomplishment and success within our school and our community. We seek to honor these men and women that have excelled and brought honor to themselves, their families, their school, and their community. We thank you, God, for the gift of life and the talents and gifts that you have bestowed on each of us. We acknowledge that all we have and all that we have accomplished is a result of your goodness and mercy. As we look back and reflect on the accomplishments of each of these inductees, we're ever mindful that ultimately none of these accomplishments were possible without you, our Creator. That we were and are created to bring you glory and praise. Father, we defer to you, for you alone are worthy to receive all praise and honor. Our lives and accomplishments pale beside what you have done for us. Lord Jesus, thank you for setting the example of living a perfect life that was and is continuing to bring honor, praise, and glory to the Father. So, Father, would you bless our time here tonight? Bless those who have prepared this meal, and bless it to the nourishment of our body. We pray and ask all of these things in the blessed name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mike. And now it's time for dinner. Let me give you a few instructions. What we'll do is let the committee members that have roles in the program go ahead first. But, and pardon my wife, I am going to point here just a little bit, but if we could get this half of the room to go first through the lines. It is a buffet, and there are lines on both sides of the buffet. But if you'll go through for your meal and your drink and your dessert, and after that, we'll release the other side of the room to start through the buffet. So let's go ahead and enjoy your dinner, and we'll have the program afterwards. the principal of Andrews High School, Mr. Darrell Baker, and ask him if he would come forward for a few words, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I apologize for my tardiness. Today we have two games, home games today, volleyball and soccer. So we're just trying to juggle it all. But I would like to say, welcome. My name is Darrell Baker, and I am the proud principal of TWA Andrews High School, home of champions, where we educate, equip, and empower students every day. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you to the annual TWA Andrews Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Tonight, we gather to celebrate the remarkable achievements of our alumni and to recognize those whose contributions have left a lasting mark on our school, our community, and beyond. There are so many exciting things happening at Andrews, and I'm proud to share just a few highlights with you tonight. Just last year, our senior class set a record-breaking, earning an incredible $18 million in scholarship money. A true testament to the hard work, determination, and the support of our dedicated faculty and staff. We also continue to see excellence in academic achievement with a graduation rate of 94.8%, one of the highest in our school's history. Athletics at Andrews has been also nothing but short of amazing. In recent years, we've captured multiple state championships in track and field. Our women's basketball team has dominated with 4 consecutive undefeated conference seasons, 4 straight conference championships, and multiple deep playoff runs. This year is already off to a good start, with our football team beginning 3-0 this season under the leadership of our new head coach, Mook Reynolds. Speaking with leadership, it gives me great pleasure to also introduce our new athletic director, Mr. Doug Brown, who will be joining us momentarily. We would like to welcome him to the Andrews and the strong legacy that we have as a Red Raider school. Tonight is about honoring those whose accomplishments remind us of the pride, tradition, and excellence that define Andrews High School. On behalf of our school, thank you for being here to celebrate with us. Welcome once again, and let's enjoy the special evening together as we honor the new inductees into the TWA Andrews Hall of Fame. And also to the Hall of Fame committee, we would like to say thank you for your continued dedication and hard work that you do for the last 11 years for the Hall of Fame induction. Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell. We also have some other guests that I would like to introduce at this time, and these are past inductees to the Hall of Fame that are present tonight. When I call your name, if you please stand and remain standing, and then we'll hold your applause until the very end. First, Dr. James Atkinson, Tony Baker, Sam Harrison Bethea, Wally Burke, Bobby Lloyd Bynum, Melvin Fair, Tommy Green, Laura Green, Pete Hunter, Latasha McKeever Jacobs, Barbara Kinney, Darlene Mason, Mike McDowell, as both a member of the 1972 state championship team and representing his mother, Ruth Ellen McDowell. Alan Peters, Hope Rush, Sue Shin, Jennifer Taylor, Carl Torrance, Dee Dee Wardlaw, Willie Williams. Let's give them all a big round of applause. I hope I did not forget anyone. There are 2 members that we're aware of at the Hall of Fame who passed away this past year. So in just a second, we'd like to take a moment of silence in memoriam for Brenda Jo Thomas, longtime teacher, coach, Got Andrews in the inaugural class of 2014. And also for Eric Risner, class of 2023, inductee in 2023, a member of the 1990 Soccer State 3A team. If we can pause for just a moment and remember them. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Hall of Fame committee who's worked so hard in preparation over the last year for the events that we're going to have tonight and then tomorrow night out at Cityman Stadium. First of all, you've already met our chair, Pete Hunter, but if he would stand, and his wife Pam is here tonight too. Laura Green. Laura is a photographer with the High Point Enterprise, but also in the Hall of Fame and a member of the committee. Darlene Mason, longtime member, and Andrews treasurer. Mike McDowell and his wife Marcia is here. Eddie Renard at the back door, he was checking everyone in. Our newest member, Jennifer Taylor, is here, Hall of Fame member. And of course, Daryl Baker and Doug Brown, the athletic director, are our liaisons. Oh, and I'm on it too, I forgot. And Herb Goins, and my wife Lindsay is here tonight. A few banquet enhancements that we have tonight. Of course, Laura Green is doing the photography. She's probably already gotten your picture by now. Videography, as they've done for many years, Greg and Delia Bates, back in the back, thank you. And the sound, Jay Eames and Annette Gratzkus, Piedmont Audio Video, with our sound and our video displays. Thank you very much. Also want to thank, and you'll see in the program, all our sponsors, both silver and bronze sponsors, and also the Challenge Grant contributors, former members or inductees into the Hall of Fame, and those that purchase ads in the program. It takes a lot to put on a banquet. There are some costs involved, obviously, for this and for the Hall of Fame, and we appreciate your support very much. At this time, I'm going to call on Mike McDowell, who is going to give you information about the Ruth Ellen McDowell Scholarship.
Good evening again. Since its inception in 2014, the Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame Committee was formed to help facilitate the honoring and recognition of deserving Red Raider athletes, coaches, and special supporters of Andrews Athletics that have left a profound impact on the school and our community. As part of the long-term vision of the Hall of Fame Committee, it was our hope and desire to someday establish a scholarship program to help support deserving athletes graduating from Andrews through our annual scholarship program. As the number of Hall of Fame inductees has grown since its first year in 2014, this year marks our 11th year of honoring inductees. Our former inductees have been challenged and have risen to the occasion of financially investing in the Hall of Fame program through our Grant Challenge program. Through the challenge and sponsorship programs, we were able to achieve our vision of establishing an ongoing scholarship program. This year marks the 8th time of being able to offer a scholarship to a deserving candidate from last year's graduates from Andrews. In 2023, we renamed the scholarship in honor of one of our former inductees, Ruth Ellen McDowell, who supported Andrews High School in its formative years. This year, we are pleased to reward Ms. Sanai Johnson with the Ruth Ellen McDowell Memorial Scholarship Award, a $1,000 scholarship towards her studies at Bryant and Stratton College in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Sanai, would you please stand? Stratton College and is majoring in business and digital marketing, and is continuing her basketball career at Bryant and Stratton. Sanai is the daughter of Walter and Samara Johnson and the youngest of 3 siblings. She graduated from TWA Andrews Health Science Early College Academy with a 4.1 GPA. Sanai was a two-sport star during her time at Andrews, competing in basketball and in track. On the track, Sanai helped her team to a runner-up finish in the 2025 North Carolina High School Athletic Association 2A Outdoor Track and Field Championships, winning state championships in the 4x200, the 4x400 meter relay events. She was named Mid-State Conference Runner of the Year in 2024 and was the 3-time captain and MVP for the Andrews Girls Outdoor Track Team. She was the silver medalist for the 55-meter run in the 2025 Indoor Track Championships. In basketball, she was a 4-year starter and 4-time All-Conference selection, scoring over 1,000 points in her career. She was named Player of the Year by the conference in 2024, 2-time conference tournament MVP, and named 3 times as the most outstanding player for the Lady Raider basketball team. During her 4 years at Andrews, the Lady Raiders were undefeated in conference play, winning the conference 4 times in a row with an amazing 56-0 record. Her senior year, she led the team in scoring and helped the Lady Raiders reach the Elite 8 in the state and had an overall team record of 25-2. Sanai will continue her basketball career at Bryant and Stratton College. Something tells me that in about 5 or 6 years from now, Sanai will probably be inducted into Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame. Sanai is joined tonight by her mother and father, Miss Samara Johnson and Mr. Walter Johnson. Would each of you please stand and be recognized? It is our great honor to reward Sanai with the Ruth Elda McDowell Memorial Scholarship Award, given by the T. Lincoln Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame for 2025. We wish you the very best and much success in your studies at Bryant and Stratton College. And would you please give a round of applause for Miss Sanai Johnson? What an accomplished young lady, and indeed Hall of Fame material very soon. At this time, we're ready to begin the induction ceremony, and let me give a few explanations here of how we will do this. While I introduce you, and there will be a video of slides that you have given to us, pictures of your maybe high school athletic career or coaching career, your family, accomplishments, and so forth. After that, if you will come forward, and Pete Hunter will place the Hall of Fame medal around your neck, and then we will ask you to make a few remarks concerning your induction into the Hall of Fame. And remember, tomorrow night at the football game against Smith, at halftime, you'll be introduced to Red Raider Nation at that particular time. All right, we're ready to begin. Let's start with our first inductee, Ernest Bain. Ernie graduated from Andrews in 1978 and was an accomplished multi-sport athlete. In football, he was 2-time All-Conference, a defensive tackle, and a member of the 1976 State 4A championship team. He was selected Team Most Valuable Player in 1977. In wrestling, Ernie earned All-Conference honors twice and finished 4th in the 198-pound class at the high school state tournament.
And please remember, back in those days, there was only one classification. All the wrestlers in the state came together, so that is quite an accomplishment. In track, his strength and skill earned him 2 all-conference selections, a Guilford County championship title, and a school record at that time in the discus. Ernie attended East Carolina University on a football scholarship, later transferring to UNC Greensboro, where he earned his degree in business. Ernie lives in High Point. He and his wife, Lisa, operate Archdale Sub Shop, which they've been operating for 34 years. He has 2 children, Nick and Crystal, who are here tonight. Crystal went to Andrews, and believe it or not, Crystal played soccer and was all conference for Coach Dalton, who's going to be inducted. And Ernie's sister, Kathy, is present tonight. We have to mention Kathy because she was a school secretary at Andrews for 17 years. Wow. So you've got quite a tie to Andrews here. Please welcome Ernest Bain into Andrews 2025.
They say you play like you practice, and I did not practice this. First of all, I'd like to thank Coach Goings. He was a great coach, and he won us that state championship in 1976 with his coaching staff, Coach Taza, Coach Wilmer, Coach Sapp, Coach Gill came later on, Ms. Stedman, Bob Shook, I can forget that. Okay. Also, I'd like to thank God for giving me a little bit of ability to play. And my mom and dad, of course, because they needed me, they wanted me to work, but they also said, if you can play ball, just go ahead and play ball. So I really did appreciate that. And I'd like to thank my teammates, Alan Peters, who's here right now, John Bailey, and all the guys that won our football state championship. That we had some great players in those teams, didn't we? Yeah. Anyway, let's see. And also Coach Wilmer. He's not with us anymore, but he was an awesome coach, and he made me look a lot better than I was. He had us ready all the time, and we made a lot of plays because of him, because of the films that he would watch. These guys stayed up. I'm gonna guess you guys stayed up till midnight looking at the film, didn't you? I mean, a lot of people they don't know the contribution they make. Like these guys, I mean, honestly, they were like in their 20s and they had young kids, and I mean, they worked their asses off to make us look good. Also, I'd like to thank Coach Dalton and Coach Lop. He's here also. They're our coaches in junior high. They were tough. They were good. They got us ready. Anyway, thank you very much. A great honor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ernie. Well, I wish I were in my 20s again. Maybe not. Our next inductee, Aletha Campbell Jr. Aletha is a 1991 graduate 2-sport athlete in football and wrestling. He earned all conference honors in 1990 on the Red Raider team that advanced to the 3rd round of the state 3A playoffs. As a 4-year starter in wrestling, he compiled a career record of 118 wins and 22 losses, the 2nd best career record in school history. As Andrews won 4 consecutive 3A state tournament championships and 2 straight dual team 3A titles, and also was undefeated the entire 4 years, individual matches, sectionals, regionals, and state championships. Quite an accomplishment. And Aletha is one of 3 inductees from that wrestling team going into Hall of Fame tonight. As a junior, Aletha was third in the state at 140 pounds and was state runner-up at 145 pounds as a senior with a perfect 34-0 record. After attending Wilkes Community College, Aletha enlisted in the Marine Corps, where he served for 4 years. He lives in High Point. He has one daughter. He's been an owner-operator truck driver, but now he's attending Forsyth Tech to obtain certification as a nuclear medicine technician. Please welcome Aletha Campbell Jr. and the Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame.
It's an honor to be here tonight. I want to say thank you, and first of all, I want to say it's good to be here. I want to thank a couple people that helped me out along the way, and the first person that I have to give gratitude is my mom. You know, my mom, she was a single parent, but regardless of anything that was going on, her and my brother made sure I had everything I needed. You know, if I needed pads, gloves, anything, my brother and my mom was always there. I know I had to be the only high school, probably person that had a water bed. Back then, I knew I had a water bed, TV, big screen TV, everything in my room. So, you know, I had it pretty good, trying to lose weight, had my water bed, you know, got me sweating, but it was good. I want to appreciate Coach Goins back in football, him and Bert and Gil, and Wally Bert. They really stayed on me. They didn't let me hit everybody the way I want to hit, but you know, I wanted to make sure the quarterback was tough. But with Coach Berg in wrestling, every day before practice, he used to get mad at me about my parts in my head, and I think that way helped me be a great wrestler. You know, he gonna make my hair grow. Just rub it out. Singing is a chain gang. But I appreciate everything that he did, because it really developed me into not only a good wrestler, but it helped make me into a better person. And that I appreciate, because some people don't have those kind of guidance these days. And I was glad to be able to get that in a coach. And when he passed me along to Bobby Lloyd, you know, I kind of felt betrayed a little bit that he was trying to make me go over the hump, because you know, I had been with him for about 3 years, and now you want to switch up on me. But that was probably one of the best moves that I ever made, because he made me a stronger wrestler and a better person. And there, you know, Bob showed me a lot, no more than just you know, he'd come and pick me up, take me to go and cut some grass, do something. That's a MacGyver, the man of all trades. And I picked up a lot of trades from him, learned me how to do a lot of things. And I appreciate Bob for that, even though he choked me out a lot of times, and almost ruined our friendship. But overall, he made me that good wrestler that went undefeated that year. I have to give that to him, because he's like, you want to make them never want to wrestle you again on that mat. And that's what he installed. And that's why that team was so good, because we left no mercy. We put mercy on everybody. And we took it in that room. And that was the only time we're going to be able to dish out any pain on anybody else. And and we had it stored ready. And so I just want to say thank you for this award, and I appreciate you everybody for coming out. Thank you.
Congratulations, Alita. Our next inductee is Coach Sandy Dalton. Sandy was a teacher and coach at High Point whose career spanned 30 years. He began coaching at Northeast Junior High, now Welborn Middle School, before moving to Andrews, where he served from 1983 until his retirement in 2002. A graduate of East Carolina, Coach Dalton made a lasting impact as coach of the men's and women's soccer teams. He had coached many other sports at both Northeast and while at Andrews, but his legacy was in soccer. During his 20-year tenure as men's coach, he was Conference Coach of the Year 3 times. His team reached the state quarterfinals 5 times, the semifinals twice, and then captured the 3A state championship in 1990. He was selected as head coach of the West team in the 1994 East-West All-Star game, and he had over 250 career wins in men's soccer. He also coached women's soccer for 10 years, winning several conference championships, and was Conference Coach of the Year 3 times. Sandy lives in High Point. He has 3 sons, and his sons are here today, Scott, Brad, and Corey. So please welcome Sandy Dalton, the Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame.
First of all, I'm gonna give him a medal. Well, remember the song Toby Keith had? Don't let the old man in. They let him in tonight. I'm really excited, but oh, by the way, I don't need this game, just a fashion statement. But anyway, Coach, how do you do this? Things getting away. Coach, thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. I've got some issues with my voice. Maybe some screaming too much over the years, but hopefully everybody can understand me. I've got something called sound reflux that makes my voice raspy and sound a little bit like Clint Eastwood. So, but I don't know how these guys get up here and talk so well and don't have notes. I gotta get right on top of mine, or I'll never get through this. A lot of that I'm sure is age. But anyway, it's an honor to be here, it really is. I hope I can get through this. I'm raspy, but also after seeing all my folks that I coached and taught, at my age, you could bring me down. But I think I'll be okay. I didn't expect when I got here to see some of the people I saw. And it'll kind of wobble your knees a little bit. But I'll try to make it through somehow. I don't like speaking. That's not one of my favorite things to do. The last time I gave a speech was probably 15 years ago. It was at my son's wedding. And many of the guests there were Italians from North Jersey. Now, people from Jersey, hope there's nobody offended from anybody from Jersey. People from Jersey verbally communicate a little different. John Cazaz's example. Of course, this put me more on edge.
and I didn't want to talk, I didn't want to give that speech, so I decided the only way to do what Jimmy Buffett said, go to Margaretville. And so, I'm not a big drinker, but if I drink one, I stand up sideways. So, I drank 3. And needless to say, it set me free. And when I finished my talk, my speech, I didn't know if I talked about the Andy Griffin Show or New Jersey pizza. But I was just happy to be through with it. And I was happy. The majority of my life, I've been around so many outstanding athletes, many from Andrews. I was given the opportunity to play prep school at Stanton Military Academy, play football. And there were so many great athletes. On the starting football team that I played on, certainly when it started, that I played on, everybody on that program on that team was a D1 player. 4 played the NFL. Needless to say, I had a vicarious experience. If you know what that means over to East Carolina, I just learned. It means I did a lot of watching. But I did get associated with a lot of great players, and players that I'll never forget. It'd probably take me all night to talk about the coaches and athletes. I got these red lips. These athletes that I work with at Andrews. The coaches, there were so many great coaches. You had Coach Goins, you had Coach Burke, who coached 11 All-Americans, Coach Kazaza, Coach Mizell, Coach Gill, and the list goes on and on. I just ain't got enough time to name them all. But I was very privileged and very, very lucky to have that. But I also had a lot of fun. A lot of these coaches were so much fun to be around and so much fun to tease with. I'm going to tell you a couple of quick short stories. There was a coach named Ronnie Crawford. Senior moment kicked in. Ronnie Crawford. And Ronnie wasn't very tall. He wrestled at state. And I used to give him a fit about his height. Well, right before Christmas one time, myself and another coach, we got a little bicycle and training wheels on. We went into this class, he was teaching class. We walked in there with that thing, and I thought he was going to fall over backwards. He's kind of quick-witted. He didn't know what to say. But the kids loved it. I said, "Merry Christmas, Coach." And the kids loved it more than he did. And but he got me back later. Later on, we went to a regional basketball game at Hickory, North Carolina. And I was riding with him and Charlie Metcalf. I was sitting in the back seat. Charlie and Ronnie were in the front. I kept complaining about how warm it was. So Ronnie put the windows down, and there I rode 30 miles, 30-degree weather, with his head. By the time I got there, I was a nice kid. I didn't even get a chance to enjoy the game. And one other thing I'm going to tell you, I could tell these stories all day. But the point I'm trying to make is, these were great coaches, they were great teachers, but they were so much fun to be around. And I had such a great time. One other story I'm going to tell you, and then I'll get back to my speech. Coach Morris, bless his heart, he's not with us anymore. Great guy. Every morning he'd go to the bagel shop in East Chester. He'd get a bagel. Well, he went there one morning, left his car running. Well, I took my car and I went and hid it. I got his, took off with it. He came out and he was going crazy. He called the police. I don't know what happened after that. But he did call the police, and that's the end of that story. But like I said, I can go on with these stories all night long. I can even tell you some stories about Coach Hill. I wouldn't do it. But they're all good. They're all good. There's some inductees here tonight that I haven't seen in probably 4 decades. That's a long time. Yeah, that makes you feel old. Casey Kenny, Drew Myers, Casey Kenny Moss. Sorry, Casey. Drew Myers, Kim Gosdale, all great athletes. Now Kim played softball for me, and she's probably one of the best players I ever had. One of the best players I ever had. And Drew was kind of the guy that, he was probably the smartest player I ever coached, but he was also kind of the glue that kept things together. And his sister Heather was equally as talented. She played for me. In fact, I took Heather to George Liebman's basketball camp up in Pennsylvania. Her mom's running on stage with me because we drove back. It was a 9-hour drive. I drove it about 6. And I didn't drive reckless, but I put the pedal to the metal, and I did drive fast. He's got a sister named Heather, like I said, that was equally as talented. What you know about Drew was also a great baseball player. He was really, probably as good a baseball player as he was a soccer player. A lot of people don't know that. 2 years ago, our 90 state championship team was inducted. There were several times that I felt like we could have won a state title, other than that time. One year we went to the semifinals against Ragsdale, had a fullback to go down, and we got beaten double overtime. They went on the next game to win by 7-0. We could have easily been there. Then I lost on a penalty kick that was questionable against Swansboro 1-0. We could have won it then. A lot of things got to fall in place to win, to go all the way. You got to be lucky. Of course, you got to have the horses. John Morris told me that a long time ago. It's about coaching. Let me tell you what, good players make good coaches. I had some outstanding slow pitch players. Pitch on teams. One of my players was Lori Bowles. You know Lori was Nat Bowles' daughter. Nat was a teacher at Andrews for many years. Okay. Now in slow pitch softball, nobody strikes out. You just don't do it. She kept striking out. I didn't know what to do. I knew it was mental. I knew it was inside her head. And I tried everything I knew to get her out of the slump, but I wasn't able to do it. My wife's brother-in-law was a really smart guy. He was a psychiatrist who graduated from Princeton. He never taught me. He's too smart. But I told him about Lori's situation and said, I heard you could hypnotize people and help them, get out of something like that. They're doing it in the MLB. With parents' permission, he treated her. The next game we played, the first pitch, she hit a line drive to the fence. I got eye contact with her dad. We both shook our heads in disbelief. We could not believe it. From that point on, she was good. She hit the ball well. I was talking about, I want to mention something about Casey Kenny because I skipped this in my speech. Casey's dad, I used to go to Casey's house and have these marathon ping pong games. We'd play, he'd start beating me, I'd go home, get a block of weights, he would beat me and I'd come back. So we'd play about half a day. But Stan Kenny was probably just one of the greatest guys I'd ever met. Just a super guy. He just told everybody nice. Just so much fun to be around. So genuine. So it was really a real treat for me to go there. But my last story, I want to say, is it was kind of a funny thing that happened to me back in the day. But in my senior years, looking back, it's a hoot now. For 3 or 4 years, our girls' soccer team was talented, about as talented as anybody, anywhere. we scheduled Charlotte Catholic, who was an outstanding soccer program. You only played them if you're good. And the games at 8, during the warm-ups, the girls like to play music. It was great. Lee Nelson, my keeper, wanted to play a cassette. I told her, okay, it was all right. She ran up to the top of the press box, put it in. The music started. First song got through. As it got through, Charlotte Catholic's bus came down, driving right in front of the field house. They got out, started to get off the bus. The music was playing very loud. First song ends, then Jimmy Buffett starts. Jimmy Buffett singing the second song. Why don't we get good drunk in? If you know Jimmy Buffett's song, you know what it is. I'm not putting the words in, but I'm gonna tell you what, I was so embarrassed. I couldn't. I wanted to get back on the bus and go back to Charlotte with him. It was something. But at least the bottom line is we won the game. In closing, over the years, I've been in a lot of high school gyms. Now you walk in a high school gym, you look in the rafters, you're going to observe a lot of banners. Most of them are conference and regional championship banners. You walk into the Andrew gym or the TWA gym, look up in the bleachers, not the bleachers, up in the rafters. You know what you're going to see? Nothing but state championships. And that's a reflection on the coaches and the players, like this gentleman. And like I say in closing, unfortunately, some of these great athletes that I've taught left us way too early. For my state championship team, I lost 4 young players, most recently, one being Eric Risen. May they rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next inductee is Kim Gosnell. Kim is a 1987 graduate and a standout multi-sport athlete. She played 2 years each of softball and soccer, earning all conference honors in both and scoring the first ever goal in Andrews women's soccer history. A 4-year player in both volleyball and basketball, she was a part of conference championships in both sports, earning all conference honors in each as a senior. She went to Catawba on a basketball scholarship before transferring to Greensboro College, where she served 2 years as team captain. Kim holds the Greensboro College record for the best single-season free throw percentage and helped the team to a conference championship while earning all conference honors. She was named one of the top 10 women's basketball players of all time at Greensboro College and has been inducted into their Athletics Hall of Fame. On the day that Kim graduated from Greensboro College, she marched in the morning, then drove down to Raleigh and coached a girls' 10 and under basketball team to the state AAU championship. Quite a busy day for her. Kim served as an assistant coach at the collegiate level for 5 years before transitioning to the world of business. She lives in California, Maryland. That's California, like Maryland. After leaving basketball, Kim has enjoyed a 25-year career in mortgage and real estate sales. She and her partner, Susan, have 2 children. Please welcome Kim Gosnell.
Everything I thought it might be. So it's hard to come up here after Sandy Dalton. I don't do my best. He's a storyteller, and I had the pleasure of playing for him, and it was some good years. He pushed you hard, and that's that always made you better. But I just want to really start and just say that I'm deeply honored and humbled to be a part of this event tonight. When I reflect on my time at Andrews, really, it was about academics, of course, right? Like we had to make those grades. We knew Coach Chin was pushing us to, you're going to college, you're taking college classes, you're going to college. Sure, it was about academics, right? It was about athletics. As a 5-sport, I don't know how I found the time to play 5 sports, but somebody asked me that, well, did you play football? I was like, no, I didn't play football, except for in the yard with my brothers on the weekends. But it was really, for me at Andrews, I had a deep sense of belonging and community. I mean, I think you can hear all the stories, all the coaches, all the folks that come up here and talk about their experience. I was very, very blessed to have some amazing teachers, coaches, and friends that really believed in me and invested in me and put time in me. And one of those is Coach Sushin. Coach, where are you? Coach. All right, well, hopefully somebody's recording it and you can hear it. So Coach Sushin set the bar very, very high. Very high. She carried her ways far beyond the field, though. And as a freshman and a sophomore, I came from a single-family home. I didn't have a car. I didn't have anyone to bring me home. And so he was like, don't worry, hop in my little blue convertible. I'll take you home. And she did that not once, not twice, not 10 times, but for 2 years. But, I look back on those rides, and those rides were really filled with a lot of laughter, a lot of crazy hair. But those rides were really filled with life lessons and encouragement that I needed. I didn't even know I needed. And she really helped me understand that leadership, it's about pushing people and challenging people, but it's also about showing them that you care. And she did that for me in many, many ways. I also want to acknowledge tonight my friend and fellow track athlete, Tommy Hodgen, is here tonight. Tommy? So Tommy, yes. So Tommy saw me during those high school years. He really saw me. He never really stopped offering his encouragement and his friendship. He nominated me for this award not once, not twice, but 3 times. He believed in me, and he persisted. And it's so powerful to have somebody in your life like that is always in your corner and just believed in you. So, Tommy, I made it up here. Thank you very much for believing in me and telling your stories. He remembers stories, guys, that I don't even remember. I was so in the moment, in high school. Some of the stories he told me, to this day, I was like, are you sure that happened, Tommy? Like, oh, yeah. So just a few coaches I want to name. Coach Grantham, Coach Francis Wall. They were my first 2 basketball coaches. They gave me a shot. They gave me a shot when I was a 7th grader. I couldn't even make a free throw. So it's kind of ironic that I ended up at Greensboro College with the highest, still to this day, free throw percentage. In 7th grade, literally, the granny shot. It was embarrassing, but it made me want to try a little bit harder, and obviously I figured that out. Coach George Henney, he was my softball coach at Northeast, and he was my history teacher. He was an amazing coach, just believed in me and pushed me, and he kept it fun. Sometimes when you get around some coaches, it's just not fun, and you're not sure if you want to play. You're like, I don't know, but Coach Henney made it fun. And of course, Sandy Dalton, who's honored here tonight, fantastic coach, definitely a jokester, pulled some pranks and jokes on us, but as a soccer coach, always drove us, always, pushed us and made us better. And then Coach Brenda Jo Thomas, who recently we lost. I just want to say to Brenda Jo, I know you're up there listening. You know what? Thank you for your volleyball coaching. And I actually didn't get coached by Coach Thomas for basketball. I had Sue Shin was my coach, but she coached me in volleyball and she pushed me super hard. But one of the great fun things about Coach Thomas is my 10th grade year as her student aide, so she let me run her Coke machine business during, and it was business, it was very popular at lunchtime. So she gave me some caffeine, little boosts every day, but more importantly, she gave me a place to belong. I was always welcome to come to the gym, I was always welcome to come down and do my homework, and you know, sometimes when you're a freshman and a sophomore, you're like, where do I go, what do I do? You know, I always have that athletic feeling. And certainly last but not least, I just want to thank my family. They're here tonight. My mom is here alongside my two brothers and their families. Mom, you supported me in ways I'll never forget. Thank you. You worked 2 jobs as a single parent of 3 kids, and still you never missed a home game. Never. Poppy walking in the Red Raiders gym with your chairs and your video camera. But back in the day, there they were walking in, in the stadium, but they never missed a game. And it's that image will always stay with me, and it just reminds me of the love and the sacrifice and dedication that took from you and that you poured into me. So thank you. Thank you. I also want to thank my partner tonight, Susan, of almost 20 years, for her love and encouragement and unwavering support, and our daughter, Delaney. We traveled down from Maryland, where we live. Your presence means the world to me and reminds me that people we love are the ones that make all these achievements worth it. So thank you. And certainly while my name's here being honored tonight with all of the coaches, I would be remiss if I left out my basketball teammates. Lucky enough to have Miss Hope Rush in the room, Jennifer's in the room. You guys were amazing teammates to me. Hope you were a busy woman. You were driving buses and you were raising babies and you were an all-star, all conference, and you were just an admiration. I didn't want to ever let you down as a teammate. There's Angie Brown was part of that senior team. A lot of people don't know in 1987, we only had 4 returning seniors. The previous team with Joyce Robinson, Jennifer's, you graduated that year. I mean, they did great things. I mean, they won the conference championship, went on to the States, and Sue wasn't sure what we were going to do in 1997. She's like, I don't know how, what are we going to do with these 4 seniors? Well, we got it done. We got it done. We had a great year. I think honestly, I don't remember, I think we only lost 2 or 3 games, but it was a fantastic year. It was, did you hold 3? Only 1 game. All right, well, we won the conference, and that's all that matters. But I just want to end with a note that Sushin wrote to me. And this was in my yearbook. So she tells me, Kim, just remember that college will have its own set of problems to deal with. And I want you to be more than a survivor. You'll find oftentimes that satisfaction comes not from success itself, but the valiant struggle to obtain it. Keep struggling against all odds. Thanks for a great basketball season. Take care of your future like you did the court. Thank you all, and thank you, Coach Shin.
Thank you, Kim. Our next inductee is Carlos Huff. Carlos participated in 4 sports following Andrews, but his greatest impact came in wrestling. He helped the Red Raiders, as I said before, with to 4 consecutive 3A state tournament titles and 2 straight dual team tournament championships. And during his 4-year varsity career, the wrestling team went undefeated, while Carlos compiled the best individual record in school history, 125 wins against only 13 losses. He was a 4-time state finalist, capturing the 103-pound championship in 1990 and named the tournament's most outstanding wrestler. He finished as a state runner-up in 1989 at 103 and in 1991 at 112 pounds. Carlos was team captain both his junior and senior years. After high school, he attended Wilkes Community College before transferring to North Carolina Central, earning a degree in mathematics. Carlos lives in Owings Mill, Maryland, with wife Charlene and 2 daughters. For the past 25 years, he's worked as a supervisory statistician for the Department of Commerce. Please welcome Carlos Huff.
First off, I'd like to thank God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for seeing fit to put me on this earth and to bless me with the athletic abilities that He blessed me with. And I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for seeing fit to allow me to be inducted into the Hall of Fame alongside my boys, Letha Campbell and Terrell Smith. We made a pact that we were going to submit our applications at the same time, and all 3 of us had to be accepted. Otherwise, we was going to ask the committee to hold off until the following year. The only person that I knew that would have done that would have been me and Terrell. Had Junior been the one to get in, he would have went in. And I'd like to thank my family, my wife Charlene, my 2 daughters, Mariah and Riley, my mother, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, for taking the time to share in this special occasion with me. Just want to add a little bit extra to the introduction that Coach Goin gave. I was also a 4-time regional champion and 2-time Piedmont Wrestler of the Year. My junior and senior year, I won every single tournament that we attended from my sophomore to my senior year, with the exception of the state tournament. After graduating from college, I actually taught mathematics at Dudley High School. And I also became the head wrestling coach at Dudley High School. There, me and Junior decided that we were going to be the modern day Coach Burt and Bobby Lowe. Needless to say, I think halfway through the season, I think we only ended up with like 2 wrestlers. Because they couldn't take it, basically. So, you know, you hear nowadays kids in professional sports saying how I am him, and this and that. Back then, I guess I could have said that, what I want, and I can't. You see, in my walk with God, I realized a couple of things. One thing is that everything happens for a reason, and that people come into your life for 1 of 3 different reasons. They come into your life for a reason, they come into your life for a season, they come into your life for a lifetime. And I've been blessed to have great coaches and people in my life. And I've never actually been a part of a losing team. That is, until I got to Andrews and decided to play baseball and run cross country. Now, I don't totally remember the cross country record, but baseball, we were terrible. I think we won like one game. Wow. But in football, we were good. We just couldn't get over at Burlington my senior year to make it to the state finals. Coach Burke hated to see me out on the football field because I guess he thought I was going to get hurt at 103, 112 pounds. You know, and if I could basically categorize my sports career in terms of education, I would basically tell you that I actually never went to elementary school, middle school, nor high school. Okay, the first place I actually went was to the military for 4 or 5 years, starting at the early age of 6, playing football for the Brookwood Broncos and the Zares baseball team, where had we been playing in today's time, you would have seen us on ESPN every single year. You see, we had a coach, Coach Skeet and Coach Chapel. Skeet was a military sergeant, drill sergeant at the time. And that's basically how we ran our practices in football, practices in baseball, as a military boot camp every day, basically. And that's how dominant we were. But under their guidance, I learned serious discipline, structure, and what hard work took at an early age outside of home. My wrestling career basically started in the 6th grade at Northeast Middle School, where I met Coach Jeffries, who was nothing like Skeet nor Jabber, basically. But he had a much softer side and a semi-hard side. You know, even when Coach Jeffries was mad, he had the same tone. You know, you couldn't tell. You know, we learned a different side of life and sports under Coach Jeffries. But while I was enrolled at Northeast, I began getting my undergraduate degree in wrestling. You know, this was because after every practice at Northeast, myself, Junior, and Popcorn would practice at Northeast, and then we would head over to Andrews and practice with Andrews a little bit. So by the time I got to Andrews, you know, I was already enrolled in graduate school, getting ready to get my PhD in wrestling from Coach Burke and Bobby Lord. You know, the things that I learned and took from them were priceless. You know, the discipline, the work ethics, how to carry yourself, how to dominate, brotherhood, real world lessons. So, and by the time I was a senior, Coach Burke gave me the nickname the Skull Bandit. Anyone besides Coach Burke knew what Skull is. Copenhagen. Snuff. So, Coach Burke used to dip Skull, Copenhagen, whatever. Get it? I don't even think I can do it now. But you get it, and you hold it like this, and you slap your finger on the top of it to make a sound, pack it down, basically, you know. And one day I got a hold of Coach Burke's skull. So I figured, hey, Coach, watch this. So I go to pack it, good. And the top flies off, and Copenhagen flies all in my eyes. So now we're hunting for Doc, who was the
athletic, the trainer. Doc was the trainer. So we were hunting for Doc. And Doc gets me and rinse my eyes out and everything. But ever since then, you know, he used to call me the Skull Bandit, basically. You know, Junior mentioned a little about our dominance and practices and stuff. But if you can, everyone has been in the gymnasium at Andrews. So back then, when we were wrestling, the wrestling room was underneath the bleachers. On the other side, the weight room was on one side, the bleachers on the other side. Underneath the bleachers were the wrestling. That was our wrestling room. And I think it was about as wide as this stage. Probably went from that wall to a little bit past that wall, had 2 doors on the end. I could touch the ceiling. We had about 3 heaters in there. Had about 3 heaters inside of it. And, you know, we would practice basically 7 days a week. And you could come in that wrestling room at any given time, and you would see the walls sweating, basically. Junior mentioned the hump and getting traded up from Coach Burke to Bob. Well, the hump was a wrestling mat that's made up of 3 strips, and we tape them together to make a square, basically. Well, in the wrestling room, we can only fit 2 strips, and we had to overlap them together to get them in. And when we overlapped them, it created a hump. And on one side of the hump were the big boys, the heavier people. And on the other side were the lightweights with Coach Burke, basically. But as far as my wrestling career, you know, I honestly never paid attention to, I guess, how great or dominant I might have been until now. It wasn't meant for me to know, I guess, back then, how dominant I was, I guess, because I guess that was God's way. Didn't want me to know. If I did, my life would probably be a little different now, basically. But the Hall of Fame induction and the committee gave me the time to actually reflect and on my journey and go back in time, you know, and realize, I guess, how good I was, how much I stayed. I stayed in the newspaper. We stayed in the newspaper as a team. You know, we were even talked about several times on the evening news. My senior year, I actually had one of my state championship matches highlighted on the evening news. We were at the Greensboro Coliseum. There was this wrestler walking around with this Gatorade cup bottle. And he was, I was real thin. And he was kind of stocky. And we couldn't figure out what this dude was sipping on, you know, the whole time. And my favorite move to do was to throw people in the air, basically, have their feet up like that. Well, the evening news caught that. When I threw him up, his feet up towards the ceiling, and I actually threw him off the mat onto the cement floor of the Greensboro Coliseum. By this time, I'm gasping for air. I'm thinking I'm about to get a break. So I walked back to the center thinking, you know, he's hurt. Nah, by the time I got back to the center of the mat, he was already waiting for me. So, but I mean, you know, folks used to tell me, you know, how good I was, but, you know, it never dawned on me. And the reason why it never dawned on me because of how dominant we were as a team. You know, we never came close to losing a match, nor a tournament. To give you an example of our dominance, I think my senior year, we were ranked nationally, right? We were ranked like 16 or something in the nation. And we actually took that as disrespect, basically. So Coach Burke set up a 14 duel at Chapel Hill. We were wrestling against the team that was ranked 5th in the nation, a team that was ranked like, what, 9th, something like that in the nation. And there was a team that wasn't ranked at all. They were just there. We wrestled the team that was ranked like 9th first or whatever. And the unranked team wrestled the higher ranked team. We thrashed this team. I mean, we beat them bad. The other match, we were supposed to wrestle the winner of that other match. Well, that sixth place, that 6th ranked National League team lost to the unranked team. So we were supposed to wrestle the unranked team. Coach Burke told them that, no, we didn't come here for that. We came here for them. And so we ended up wrestling that 6th ranked team in the nation. And I mean, we put it on them back. I mean, it was something bad, you know. Another example of that dominance that we had, we would have wrestling tournaments every weekend. And a gym full of hundreds and hundreds of wrestlers and fans, and a gymnasium. And there was a picture up there where I had on a Miami Hurricanes hat. I had a hoodie on, turned inside out, and I had some red Umbros on. And what we would do is, when we got to the gymnasium door, I mean, we could hear all of the chatter, all of the noise. I mean, talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in that gym. And we come in with our hoodies turned inside out. Everybody had red Umbros, and we had a white net that carried all of our wrestling. And we would have it draped over our shoulder. I led the way. And as soon as we got in that gym, you could hear the silence. It was dead silence. You know, my bishop would say, you know, it was so quiet in there, you could hear a mouse running across the floor when we stepped in the gym. But, you know, it was nothing like walking into that gym and just everybody just go complete silent. I mean, it was absolutely nothing like it. And for some odd reason, we seemed to be the team that would arrive to the tournament late every single Saturday. Every single Saturday. I don't know if it was by design. Coach wanted us to be there late so everybody could see us make a grand entrance, or the fact that somebody like Junior or Popcorn had to run on the bus to lose weight, a couple extra pounds before we got there. There were 13 weight classes in wrestling. And at this tournament, we go through brackets. And the final 2 for each weight class, they would have one mat in the center of the gym for the finals. And on one side, you would have one final, and on the other side, you would have the person you're wrestling against in the finals, basically. And at every single tournament, on one side in the finals, we had 80% or 90% of our team was in the finals. So it was almost like Andrews against, you know, an all-star team made up of folks from everywhere. But, you know, by now, you should have a sense of the dominance that, you know, we had, and while I was at awe myself of that dominance, even though I was pretty good myself and could declare that I am him, but I can't, you know, and I won't. you see it's folks like, and if you're here, I'd like you to stand for a second. You know, it's folks like Coach Skeet, Coach Jabo, Coach Jeffries, Coach Burke, would you stand? Bob, could you stand? Doug, could you stand? Most importantly, Miss Janie, my mom, could you stand, without whom none of this would have been possible. You know, she made sure that the discipline, the structure, the hard work, and life lessons started at home, and that I didn't need for anything. You know, see, these are the folks. You know, you see, these are the folks, and the reason why I can't say that I am him, because to me it's kind of such a solo thing to say, because without any of them in my life, I wouldn't have been who I was, and God saw fit to put them in my life. So no, I can't say that I am him, and I won't, because I am them, basically. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Our next inductee is Ashley McKeever. A 2006 graduate, was a dominant sprinter during one of the Red Raiders' most successful track eras, competing in the 100 and 200 meter dashes and the 4x100 and 4x2 relays. Ashley helped the women's team to 4 consecutive conference championships. Over her high school career, she won 12 conference titles in individual events and 7 state championship events, while finishing runner-up in 3 others. She played a vital role in back-to-back 2A state titles in 2004 and 2005, being named Most Outstanding Performer of the 2005 state meet. She continued her athletic journey at Appalachian State on a track scholarship, competing in the sprint events. She contributed to 2 Southern Conference indoor championships and 1 outdoor conference championship, graduating in 2010 from App State with a degree in health promotion. She lives in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and works in Charlotte in the accounting department with Kempton Tryon Park Hotel. Please welcome Ashley McKeever to the Andrews Athletic.
Just want to start by saying I'm grateful and honored for receiving this award. For a while, my family kept asking me, have you wrote your speech yet? And I'm like, I'm not ready to speech. You know, I said I have all my dome here. But to be honest, it's kind of hard for me to write a speech about being inducted to the Hall of Fame of my high school, because there's so many different words for me. I come from a long list of family members who have set foundations for me, mostly men at first, but I have my older sister, Tasha McKeever. She came through Andrews, and she was always the person I looked up to. She was the person I admired. She kind of laid the foundation for me of what I want to do as far as sports-wise. Like, she did basketball, volleyball, track, so I was like, let me do what my older sister does. I'm gonna do everything she do, every sport she does. But Lord behold, track was the one for me. And that's okay, but I just know that a lot of people used to come at me and call me Tasha's little sister. Tasha's little sister. I'm like, Tasha's sister has a name. So I realized that I had to make a name for myself. So I had to learn how to start competing for myself, running for Ashley, so people can know who Ashley is. Not know me as Tasha's sister or Tasha's little sister. So it was an honor for me to go to Andrews High School just to be in those footsteps, but I also wanted to be coached by Coach Morris, Coach Shen. I didn't get the opportunity to have Coach Shen, but I did have a year with Coach Morris, before he decided to go to a different school, and also after that, you know, he was a great leader, so it was an honor for that. But just to stand here to hear everybody's conversations about their experience with different coaches and how they had great coaches in their life. Honestly, in track and field, when I was coming through high school, we had so many coaches, kind of hard to keep track of who helped what, but I took a little bit from every coach that helped us. I do know one coach that did stand out for me was Coach Gazal. He actually didn't coach us in track, but he was a great, great coach who kept us motivated. He kept us grounded. He taught us the ins and outs of being a great athlete, a student athlete. Also, he taught us how to be aggressive, be hard in weight training class. Cause coming in, I'm a short little girl, wasn't weighing much of nothing, but learned how to lift weights properly. I came out of high school, kind of had little muscles on me a little bit, but but just to go through my experience of competing with Andrews High School. I came as a freshman, and you know, we have upperclassmen on the team, so you look up to the upperclassmen, you know, and my goal always in life was I want to be the best. I want to be number one. So who's my target? Who I need to be that number one person? So coming in as a fresh, I'm hungry. I want to be successful. I want to be the best. So as freshman went on, I earned my spot on the 4x1, earned my spot on the 4x2, which is funny because I come from middle school where I always ran last leg on any relay. The 4x1, 4x2, I was always last leg. But coming to high school my freshman year, I had to run the first leg for 4x1. And I was like, Coach Morris, do you know what you're doing? You understand who I am? Like, I'm fast. So why my first leg, you know? But I honored that first leg, and I took it head on strong because I knew just to be in the first leg, I'm the one who set the tone for the race, for the relay. So that's how I looked at that. And then I ran third leg on 4x2. Again, I'm like, third leg? I'm one of the top fast girls in this team. Why am I running third leg? But I had to learn how to run different legs, you know. And that comes with discipline. It's just not about you when it comes to a relay team or a track team. It is a team altogether. Yes, you run individually, but you do come out together as a team. But it's just a great honor to be here. I thank my family, my parents, my sisters, my aunt, my cousins. And the great thing about it, I have one of my teammates that have been running with me on my relay team since middle school. She has always been my third leg runner. She always handed me the baton. If it wasn't her, it wasn't gonna be right. But it's my best friend. She's my best friend to this day, Tara Cross. So she's part of our relay team championship. But I just want to stand and just say thank you guys. I'm so grateful to be honored, to be recognized for my gift and my talent. I'm blessed to have that. I'm blessed for parents who actually allowed me to pursue my career in track into high school. I did AAU track, Lord, hot summer days when my parents took time to actually sit in the hot sun and watch me run races in the hot sun. But I appreciate them for them being that supportive parents, because a lot of people can't say they have parents who support them through their times in high school and through their sports and everything they love. So, but other than that, I'm not going to stay long. I thank you guys for the opportunity, and I love you all. Thank you.
Unfortunately, our next inductee was not able to be here tonight because of an illness in the family, and that was John McNeil. I will tell you a little bit about John. He was the class of 1986 and a standout basketball player. He helped the Red Raiders to conference championships in 1984 and 1986. He was named Guilford County Player of the Year his senior season, averaging 19 points and 11 rebounds per game, and played in the East-West All-Star game at Greensboro. He attended Chewan Junior College, where he earned all conference honors and led the Braves to a 52-11 record and a berth of the first ever berth in the National Junior College Tournament. He was inducted into the Chewan Hall of Fame in 2013. After junior college, he went to Georgia Tech to continue his basketball career under Bobby Crimmins. He was a starter on the 1990 Yellow Jacket squad that won the ACC championship and reached the school's first ever Final Four, falling to eventual champion University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV. He went on to a 15-year professional career overseas, playing in Brazil, Switzerland, Germany, and Austria, and was twice named Pro Player of the Year in Austria. He lives in Conyers, Georgia, and he has 2 sons, and he works as a manager of United Distributors in Conyers, Georgia. Let's give him a big hand. Our next inductee is Casey Kenny Moss, class of 1988. She brought an impressive tennis background with her before competing at Andrews. She was the U.S. Tennis Association North Carolina state singles champion at age 10 and qualified for the Southern Tennis Association championships at ages 12 and 14. She and a partner also claimed the North Carolina State Tennis Association doubles title for 3 consecutive years. At Andrews, she was a 4-year all-conference selection, playing the number 2 singles for 3 years before stepping into the number 1 spot as a senior. Her contributions elevated Andrews' women's tennis team as they finished 2nd in the 1985 state championships and then captured the 3A state tennis championship in 1986. Casey and her doubles partner, Jennifer Hedge, were state 3A doubles runners-up in 1986. Casey went on to UNC Wilmington on a tennis scholarship and played number 2 singles all 4 years. She lives in Wilmington with her husband Greg and 2 sons, Owen, and I believe Peyton is here tonight. She's been a career teacher, now teaching at Laney High School in Wilmington, and for 7 years she taught at Trinity High School, where Coach Dalton's son Corey was her number 1 singles tennis player while at Trinity. Let's please welcome Casey Kenny Moss.
Good evening. First of all, I just want to thank the Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame for giving me this honor and recognition. My mother last year was my high school tennis coach, and she was honored with this recognition last year, so I felt like if any of you were here last year, I'm not going to repeat everything, all the little stories and everything, but it was a great experience. It was a little different with my mother being my coach. I talked back a little bit to her, had a little bit of an attitude. She had to set me straight, and sometimes I might have been at home, not in front of the teammates, not at Andrews, but it was a great experience overall, learned a lot. And I just want to say tonight that Jennifer Hedge, Jennifer Ridge, my partner, is here tonight. Thank you for coming. She was my partner, doubles partner. She helped us with Karen John being the singles, and with us being the doubles, and a few more other of the teammates helping out as a team, that we, had enough points to win the state championship. So it was a team effort. It took, even though it's an individual sport, it took a team effort for all of us to win. And it was great. I do remember talking to Jennifer out there right now about how we would get money for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when we'd go to regionals, sectionals, regionals, and then state. And you would get a little bit of money for each meal. Well, what we would do is, like, we would go to state, like in Chapel Hill, we would save the money for breakfast and lunch, because it was like, let's go out and have a nice dinner. So we would go to Chapel Hill, and never forget, right beside, I think, Carolina Inn, we would go to this French restaurant. And we all were just so excited because we had all of our money saved up, and we could get like a nice meal. And I'm sure we were starving too, but we were all great friends on the tennis team. We were really fortunate. I mean, we did everything together out of school. We traveled together, went to the beach together, hung out at each other's houses. It was just something that I'll never forget, and I'm very fortunate and thankful. And as Coach Goins said, I am still a teacher. I have 2 to 3 years left, depending on how much I can handle. I'm at Laney High School in Wilmington. I used to be a PE teacher, which, small world, like we said. Corey was on my tennis team. Had no idea, found out, Coach Dalton was his dad. And also, Corey's mother was my son's art teacher at Hopewell Elementary. So she taught Peyton out there, like, I think preschool, she taught him art. She was the art teacher. And so it was funny how years later, we knew Sandy from coming to our house and hanging out with all of us, my brother Brett and all of us. and my dad. And then years later, I got to know his wife. And then we would, she would come to the tennis matches, and it was kind of funny because I would have Peyton in his stroller, who was like 3 and 4, at a home tennis match at Trinity High School. And he was having a fit, and I'm trying to coach the team, and he's screaming and yelling in his stroller. So Sandy's wife would she's like, let me take him. She would take him in the stroller. I think she might take him up to the track and walk the track. She goes, you coach, do what you need to do. I got him. So it was just such a thing to have, to get to know her after I had known him through my childhood, knowing Sandy, and then getting to know Corey, which was a great experience. I do want to say a few things about being a student at Andrews. As I've been a teacher now for 28 years, I've seen a lot of different kinds of teachers, and especially I was a PE teacher for a long time. So when I think back about my PE teachers, when I was a PE teacher, I think of the structure that we had at Andrews. Miss Shin, she was one of my PE teacher, maybe 9th grade year, 10th grade year, very structured. She just didn't roll the ball out. I mean, we actually did sports. We took tests on each sport. I mean, physical fitness tests, written tests. Same goes for Miss Thomas, who I had as well. Miss Thomas, one thing I always remember with Miss Thomas, we would go out. I had her for advanced PE for I guess my last 2 years, and I had her as assistant, like Kim Gosnell said. I was also a PE assistant for her as well. She would make us sit in a classroom and learn how to keep score bowling, because we would go out last period and go to the bowling alley up on North Main, and she said, we are not going to go bowl until everybody in this room knows how to keep score. And so back then, before the computer and everything did it for you, you actually had to get paper and pencil, and you had to go out there and you had to learn strike, +2. So it ended up kind of being that my friend and I, Jenny Needham, would actually kind of have to go around and kind of help out with some of the kids, because it wasn't that easy. I mean, there was some math to it. But Miss Thomas was just like, no, we're not going till everybody understands this. We're not going to go to the bowling alley. I mean, so I have to say she did a great job incorporating her math and PE. So anyway, I just want to say that great teachers. Miss Fauner was a math teacher. Miss Gain. I had great math teachers. When I went to college, I had a lot of friends that struggled in math. But I'm doing fine in math. Pre-calculus, calculus, I didn't have any problems. I made B's, and I was like, this is great. Because I had great high school math teachers, and it showed, and there it was. Coach Goins I had for history. I just remember sitting in the classroom. I can remember where it is right now, upstairs. He just would go tell stories. Just great stories with history, and everybody in the whole classroom just sit there, just listen. Just like, can't wait, like, what are you going to say next? What story are you going to tell next? So, like I said, I kind of using this as a teacher point of view, just because I've seen a lot of different teachers through the years, of different kind of teachers, and I hope that I've become the teacher that I'm so proud of the teachers I had. I hope I've become that to some type of degree. But tonight, though, I want to thank family and friends, my family friends, the Corpenings, there's Patty, my brother Brett Kenny, my aunt, my uncle Jimmy, his wife Barbara, my mom Barbara, my mom Barbara Kenny, and then my son Peyton, my older son, was able to be here, and then Jennifer Ridge, my doubles partner. So I'm just really happy that everybody could come here. This was a wonderful experience. I don't think I forgot anything. I just want to make sure, but I just want to. I felt like after sitting there for all these people, I'm just like, I'm going to forget something, but I felt like I said everything. I'm just very lucky to have graduated from Andrews High School. I think that a lot of people can't say that about their high school they probably went to, but it was a great high school. It was a great experience. Tennis team, everything was wonderful. And thank you again so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Our next inductee is Drew Myers, a 1988 graduate. Outstanding in multiple sports. In baseball, he played 3 years and was selected his junior year as Defensive Player of the Year. But his senior year in the spring, he competed in track. He actually competed in indoor track as well, becoming a 500-meter state finalist and team MVP, and winning conference and regional titles in outdoor track. Drew was a state medalist in the 1998 3A championship 800-meter run and ran on the 4x800 relay. in the same meet. His greatest impact, though, came in soccer, where he played 4 years, being team captain and most valuable player as a senior. He earned all conference, all region, and all state honors, and played in the North Carolina All-Star game. He continued his soccer career at Virginia Tech, attending on a combination of athletic, academic, and service scholarships. He battled injuries his entire college career, but he was named Virginia Tech's Scholar Athlete of the Year for all sports in 2001 and earned academic All-American honors. He graduated summa cum laude in 2002 with a degree in Business Information Technology. Drew lives in Charlotte with his wife, Kristen, and he is a chartered financial analyst at Wells Fargo. Please welcome Drew Myers to the Andrews.
Thank you very much. A lot of athletes in the room might agree that some of the best things in life make you sweat. And well, after these class acts, I feel a little sweaty up here. Hopefully I'll get through it here. Really big thank you to the committee and all of you who make this happen behind the scenes, in honoring us and helping us to remember the glory days. You're bringing a little joy in people's lives, and that's a good and special thing, so thank you very much. I think we're extremely fortunate to be part of the last ceremony that Coach Goins will MC before handing the mic over. Coach was a little before my time at Andrews, but is an absolute legend for what he's done in the school and community. So thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Congratulations to the other inductees. I'm very humbled in just hearing all the accolades, to be in such good company, and I echo everyone's sentiments about their coaches and their teammates. I'm grateful that they were all a part of my life, and a few will hold a special place in my heart forever. Speaking of which, I feel especially grateful to be in the same class as my former soccer coach, Coach Dalton. I'll tell one anecdote that Coach may deny, but it's true. Coach used to be the administrator of in-school suspension during the day. And on days of big games, I used to get myself into just enough trouble to be sitting down to Coach's room so that we could strategize the game plan. Hopefully the statute of limitations has run out now. I've cleaned up my act since then, well, mostly. My mom and sister are here. They might disagree. They know the best of me. They know the worst, and they're still here, so I'm extremely lucky. Or maybe I just am good at picking the right family. My sister, as Coach Dalton said, probably should be up here too, maybe next year. We talked about how she was a notable athlete and coach in her day. And maybe the biggest all-star is my mom, who coached at Millis Road Elementary School for 50 years. My wife, Kristen, is also here, who's the best human being I've ever known. My friends and family remind me almost daily that I married up. So I'm trying to stay on her good side, so no anecdotes about her here. My dad's not here. He passed away a couple years ago. But a couple of years before he passed, he was honored the same way at High Point Central because of his athletic prowess and his contributions to the community, like co-founding High Point Little League. Now we all know in this room, as Andrews is superior to our rivals in almost every way, that it's much easier to get into Central's Hall of Fame. I think we do have some Central people in the house, though. But even as my dad declined with dementia, he was extremely proud of that honor until the day he died, and I'm very honored to be walking in his footsteps. Just one quick story I'll end with. You know, my parents supported all the things my sister and I did in school, and were staples to all the games. One baseball game my junior year, Dad saw his former baseball coach at High Point College, it was High Point College at the time, Chuck Hartman, who was the coach at the time of Virginia Tech, in the stands to scout me. So they sat together, and I wasn't a power hitter. I was 130 pounds, soaking wet, and Coach Dalton did a couple milkshakes. I was a base hit hitter and had never hit a home run in a game. My first at bat, the first pitch, I put the fat part of the bat on the ball and jacked one to deep left field. It's the furthest I've ever hit a ball. Cleared the fence by about 30 feet, about 2 inches foul. So my eyes were as big as saucers after that. I was coming out of my shoes with every swing and ended up striking out 3 times that game. And that's why I played soccer at Virginia Tech and not baseball. I really hope that as an Andrews family, this can keep us connected and bonded. I look forward to more reminiscing tonight and at tomorrow's football game. And just thanks very much. Go Red Raiders.
Thank you, Jerry. Our last inductee of the evening is Terrell Smith. Terrell's a class of 1991. He made a significant impact in just 2 years on the wrestling team. He was a key contributor to 2 consecutive 3A state championship tournament teams and part of the school's first 2 state dual team championship squads. He compiled an impressive career record of 66, 10, and 3, including a standout senior season in which he went 38 wins against 4 losses, setting a school record for the most wins in a single season. His senior year culminated in winning the 3A state championship at 103 pounds, in addition to being individual title winner in several very large wrestling tournaments. Terrell continued his education at North Carolina Central University, where he earned his bachelor's degree in business with a concentration in computer information systems. He lives in Durham with wife Tiffany and his daughter. He works as an engineer for a medical device company and has his own business, On Time Computer Solutions. Please welcome Terrell Smith to the Andrews Athletic Club.
It's truly an honor to be inducted into the Andrews Athletic Hall of Fame, along with a couple of my teammates, Victor Campbell and Carlos Huff. We shared some time. We shared some good times, good memories on the mat, as well as off the mat. And I can truly say that, we remain good friends to this day. When I truly look at my life and I look at wrestling, I can see how wrestling made me who I am today. It taught me how to fight through adversity. It taught me how not to quit when things got tough. It taught me how to be humble through the losses. It taught me how to push through pain and fatigue. It taught me how to be disciplined from the weight management. Quitting was never an option for us because we had teammates and we had coaches that we held each other accountable for that. So I want to thank you coaches and my teammates for that. I also want to thank my parents. for how they raised me, especially my mom. She didn't just raise me, she guided me, she supported me, and she also believed in me. She taught me how to treat people with respect, no matter who they were. She gave me a lot of wisdom. She taught me how to manage my finances, and she always showed me love. I started playing sports around 7, 8 years old, and my mom told me one thing. She said, if you start something, make sure you finish it. And that stuck with me in sports and life and everything that I did. She was always there. She was at every practice, every game, every match that I had. She made sure that I had everything that I needed. And most of all, she always taught me how to put God first in everything that I do. So thank you, Mom, for that. And I really appreciate you. I also want to thank my coaches, Coach Burke and Coach Bob. We didn't just have coaches who coached us, but they also prepared us for life. Coach Burke was a big part of my success. He worked with me every day in practice. I can't remember a day that I didn't wrestle or work with Coach Burke in practice. And a week before the state tournament, he helped me, what I call, develop my signature move, which was the cross-face cradle. And I can truly say that everybody in the state became a victim of it. And we called it like a blessing in disguise because no one else was expecting it because they haven't seen it before. So I thank you, Coach Burke, for that. Also, he gave me the nickname too. He gave me the nickname Bow Grip because of how tight my grip was when we used to wrestle. And so I wrote that on my headgear. I don't know if he wrote it or I wrote it on my headgear. And I kept that on my headgear all season long, and I felt like that was good luck to me. So thank you, Coach Burke, for everything that you've done for me. Also, Coach Bob. Coach Bob was another big part of my success. Coach Bob had this aura about him to where when he came in the room, in the wrestling room, the whole atmosphere changed. He was a coach that nobody wanted to see walk into practice because we knew when he walked in, Coach Bob meant business. So like Carlos said earlier, we had a small wrestling room, so it was kind of hard to hide in that wrestling room. And we would try to make excuses like when Coach Bob came in and he got dressed, and I say, hey Coach, I gotta go to the bathroom. He said, no, you should have done it before I got here. Come on. But one thing I can say about Coach Bob is that I would say my senior year, I had already placed third in the regional to qualify me for the state tournament. And so I was excited to tell people that I made it to the state. I wasn't concerned about what I did when I got there. So I wasn't too concerned about winning the state. I was just content with being, getting there or being first, second, and third. Well, one day, Coach came into practice early. I think he got off work at like 4:30, and it was only me and a couple other guys in the room at the time. And he came in and he said, he called me Bo. He said, Bo, I looked at the wrestling chart, man, and you got a good chance of winning the state. And at first I was like, is he really talking to me? And so that changed my mentality because it was something that came from Bob. It was something that came from someone I respected. So it changed my mentality from, me being content of, placing first, second, and third to Bob said that I can do it. So he believed in me. So I wanted to go out there and win it because Bob said I could win it. So, and the rest was history. So, and that's what happened with that. So thank you, Bob, for those words of encouragement. I really appreciate you.
All right.
And let's see, last but not least, I gotta say a special thanks to Carlos Hupp. And he was my wrestling mate. Carlos was a returning state champion my senior year. He moved up a weight class, and I knew that he was gonna be passing me the baton, when he moved up. I knew that, he was a returning state champion, and I knew that if I wrestled with him every day and I, pretty much put in the work with him every day, that sooner or later that I would become a state champion. So I really appreciate him for pushing me, and he knew exactly what buttons to push every day in practice. And he pushed them every day too to make me better. So I appreciate you, Carlos, for that. And so, I mean, that's all I have. I thank you for the Hall of Fame committee. I thank you to all of my coaches for what you guys poured into us and everything that you've done. And I can still call my coaches and my teammates here today. And Coach Berger answered the phone, Coach Barber answered the phone. You know, I love you guys. Ma, I love you. I love my wife Tiffany, my sister, all you guys. You guys are always there for me and supporting me. And I thank everybody for your time tonight. Go Red Raiders.
Thank you, Terrell. That was great. That concludes our induction ceremony tonight. And after we make a couple of announcements, we do want all the inductees to come back to the front so that we can get a group picture. And certainly parents, friends, teammates, you're welcome to take pictures as well. Tomorrow night, as we said, we'll be introduced at the halftime of the football game at Simeon Stadium against Smith. And a couple of reminders, folks, please leave the table decorations on the table. We use one of those next year. And don't take the reserve table signs because we try to use those again next year. And let me remind you again about nominations. The Andrews Athletic website, the nomination is there. The address to send it to is there. Please provide as much information if you wish to nominate somebody as you know about the individual. Fill it out completely so that we'll have a large number of great individuals to choose from. Thank you once again for attending. Again, attendees, if you would come, inductees, if you would come up to the front for the picture. Thank you again for coming. Good night.